What I want to do in this video is look at the creation of the vaccine and look at really the motives of vaccination and really where they came from, and there are also criticisms of vaccinations, okay? Not modern criticisms of vaccinations, because we know now that vaccinations are what they say they are, and this sort of anti-vax movement is very silly, but looking more at the criticism at the time, okay, when people didn't know better. So for a start, let's have a little look at the disease called smallpox, okay? So in the 1700s, smallpox was one of the deadliest diseases. Okay, so as an example of how deadly it is, in 1751, over 3,500 people died of smallpox in London, okay? And the real only way to prevent smallpox at this time, okay, was with inoculation, okay, and this was promoted by Lady Mary Wortley Montagu, okay, so remember her name, Lady Mary Wortley Montagu, okay, and inoculation effectively just involved cutting the arm and soaking it in pus from smallpox to build immunity, okay, so it's a little bit like what we would call immunization today. So immunization, they're effectively the same thing. Effectively try and almost give the patient a little bit of the disease, or expose somebody to the disease to try and build their immunity to it. And since people were still, it involved people still catching smallpox first, it's very problematic. So essentially what they were trying to do was expose people to the smallpox disease, get them to catch the disease, and then effectively just sort of hope that they would get better, and that would build their immunity. So if they ever got it again, that would be they would be a lot more immune to it. And it worked if you got better, but a lot of the time people just caught smallpox and died. So it was very one step forward, two steps back, shall we say? Okay. Then comes Edward Jenner. Okay, so Jenner was born in 1749. So really around the height of the deadly smallpox disease in England. Okay, and he heard that milkmaids didn't catch smallpox, but did catch cowpox, okay, which is a different sort of formulation, a different version of smallpox. So that's what he found out, okay. And he discovered that those with cowpox didn't have smallpox. Okay, there was a correlation, okay. There was a correlation. So if you had cowpox, you wouldn't get smallpox. Oopsie daisy. Smallpox, which is very interesting, okay? And in 1796, Jenner tested this theory. So he injected someone called James Phillips with the pus from someone called Sarah Nelms, okay, who was a milkmaid with cowpox, okay, and then Jenner infected him with smallpox. Poor James was really just a lab rat here, okay? So he had cowpox, and then he injected him with smallpox, and the boy didn't catch smallpox. And then a couple of years later, his findings were published. So effectively, Jenner was the creator of the first vaccine. So vaccines today, what they do is you inject somebody with a dead or dormant sort of strand of the bacteria that you want to get them immune against, okay? And the body will fight that infection as if it was the real thing, okay? And it will create the antibodies that are available to fight the disease. As a result, if the real thing ever comes back, then your body will be immune to it because it already has the antibodies in your system to be able to fight this disease. So it's almost like preparing your body for an eventual real infection from the actual disease. That's what the modern sort of interpretation of vaccinations are. You'll learn about it more in biology. So that's how And that's how it was discovered. It was discovered using sort of the relationship between cowpox and smallpox, and noted that people with cowpox didn't get smallpox. So, is there a way we can sort of develop this to give people cowpox, and therefore they wouldn't get smallpox? Okay, and obviously there was a lot of opposition to Jenner's theories. Okay, so people were worried in general about being given a disease. Okay, and some doctors saw it as a threat since they practiced inoculation. Okay, oopsie daisy, that should be a D at the end of this. Practiced inoculation. So it was seen as a threat to their livelihood. Okay, threat to their livelihood. Effectively, okay. So really, it was really there was a lot of criticism, people trying to stop it. Some of it for their own selfish reasons, others for just generally worried about the idea of being given a disease. Okay, William Woodville claimed that Jenner's vaccination didn't work much better than inoculation. Okay, he was really a supporter of inoculation. Okay, supporter of inoculation. Oops. Okay. However, in terms of what happened in terms of like the legislation that was passed, in 1853 vaccinations became compulsory. Okay. In 1802, Parliament granted Jenner £10,000 to open a vaccination clinic. And in 1840, vaccinations became free for infants. I don't know why these dates are backwards. So this one was first, and then this one, and then this one. For some reason, they're all in different orders, okay? So basically Parliament sort of took it step by step in the 1850s, okay? So he granted Jenner a vaccination clinic. They then made it free for infants, and then it became compulsory in 1853. And this was a huge success in the abolishment of smallpox, and a huge development in medicine through history at the moment. Okay.